I'm a llama.
What's going on, YouTube world? Today we're going to be talking about how you can get good feedback as a new seller. I'm going to give you 5 tips that will work if you do them consistently. Into the video we go.
Who are you?
My name is Jason, aka Mr. Llama, the not so better half of the Lazy Llamas, which is the eBay store that I run with my wife, Mrs. Llama.
Stupid llamas!
A little recap about us. My wife and I have owned a gym for almost 9 years, and we started reselling on eBay about 3 years ago, where we took our store and grew from 0 sales to over $10,000 a month in less than 2 years.
Oh, this story never gets old.
We started this channel because we thought we could help motivate people. After selling on eBay, we realized that anybody could do it if you put time and effort into it and do your research. So we wanted to give back and take the knowledge that we've learned over the last 3 years and give it to you, because we know that you can do the same thing that we did and grow your store from 0 to $10,000 a month in less than 2 years if you implement the things that we did.
Well, now you've got my attention.
A key to growing a successful store on eBay is good feedback. Buyers will a lot of times choose a seller based on the amount of good feedback that they have. So you are starting an uphill battle as a new seller. But if you implement these 5 tips that I'm going to share with you, I guarantee that your good feedback will come in and sales will increase as your good feedback increases.
See, it all connects.
Tip number 1. Testing and inspections. If you sell electronics, make sure that everything is tested and working properly. And if there are any defects, make sure that you are listing them in the description, or if there is any cosmetic damages to the electronics, that you are including them in the pictures, as well as in the descriptions. If you are selling shoes or clothing, make sure if there are any flaws as far as, a rip or a hole or even a fray or some discoloration, make sure that the pictures show the flaws and are also listed in the description. I spend a good part of my day when I'm working on eBay doing testing. I sell mostly video games, video game consoles, and video game accessories.
Oh, you're never too old for video games.
So there's a lot of electronics, discs, so I spend a lot of my day making sure that all the consoles work correctly, that the discs work, that any controllers that go with them work. That is a huge part of my day, which is pretty fun because I do get to spend most of my day playing video games. Makes me laugh at the people who told me I'd never make any money playing video games when I was a kid. Mom and Dad.
My mother says video games are bad for you.
So I know that anything that I'm listing and selling, I know everything about them, so I can let the buyer know everything about them. You want to make sure the buyer knows exactly what they're getting when they click buy on your item. And that really segues us into tip number 2.
I'm stealing 5 segues at once.
And that is great pictures and a better description. You want your pictures to be well lit. You want your pictures to include every angle of the item. You want your pictures to include any flaws that the item has. You also want your descriptions to be as complete as possible. Now, you don't have to write 2 paragraphs, but you want to make sure that you're succinct, but you do let the buyer know everything there is to know about that item. You want no surprises.
No surprises? No surprises.
Again, you want to make sure the buyer gets exactly what they're expecting. This will lead to good feedback. This rolls right into tip number 3, and that is check and recheck.
Check, 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 check.
Before I ship out an item, I make sure that it looks just as good, if not better, than the pictures that were in the listing. That means I will, clean the item again. I'll wipe down the console again, make sure there's no dust on it. This even comes into play when I package the item. I don't just throw stuff in a box, throw bubble wrap on top of it, and seal it up. Everything is individually wrapped, neatly placed in the box, so that it's going to be shipped safely. And when they open the box, the aesthetics of how good it looks in the box will actually lead to more good feedback, because that's a good experience. Upon opening the box, they see a nice, well-packaged item that they ordered, that even when they take it out of the bubble wrap, the expectations are going to be exceeded.
Like I just said, I exceeded his expectations.
Because it's going to look even better, it's going to be super clean, and they're going to be very happy with their purchase, which will lead to good feedback. So now we're going to go over tip number 4, which is something that I mentioned in a previous video. We, since day 1, have left a handwritten note in every item that we've sold. This isn't something that's copied and cut and sent like a postcard and it says the same thing to every buyer. Every note is handwritten and addressed directly to the buyer by name. And we even make it a little more personal because we include the actual item that they purchased in the handwritten note and say something to the effect of, "We hope you enjoy it."
That was a nice touch. Thanks.
We'll say something like this: "Dear John, thank you for your purchase. We hope you enjoy your Nintendo. But that's the gist. That's how it starts, and that's how they know it's personal. Everything is handwritten, and they know that we wrote it just for them. It's not just a copy that we send out. Now, thank you cards are fine. If that's what you want to do, at least put a thank you card in at a very minimum. But I'm telling you, if you're able to do a handwritten note, please do it. We average about 20 items a day. It takes an average of a minute to write one of these handwritten notes. So it's 20 minutes of our day to write a handwritten note, and I can guarantee you this one for sure will lead to good feedback.
100% guarantee.
I can't tell you how many feedbacks we've gotten where they actually mentioned the note. It's personal, it's something you don't see very much anymore, and it's something buyers really appreciate. The fifth and final tip, leave feedback for your buyers. Simple as that. The more feedback you leave them, the more feedback they're going to leave you.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
So every day or every couple of days, you can go into your eBay account, you can go to leave feedback, you can choose leave feedback for buyers. Now, I will admit, I do take a shortcut on this. I do copy and paste the same feedback in each one.
I expect more from you.
It says something to the effect of good buyer, prompt payment, A+. And I'll copy and paste that into each one. Because at the end of the day, I do have 2 businesses and 4 kids, so I stay pretty busy.
You sound like you're making excuses.
But again, you can personalize each feedback if you want. I would recommend you do if there's a way to personalize it in a way. Or you can copy and paste like I do. Just make sure you're leaving feedback for your buyers. This will lead to more feedback for you. So that's going to do it for today. Another short video, more specific, helping you grow your feedback, which is very important to a new seller. Just follow these 5 tips, and I guarantee you, your good feedback will come rolling in. If you got anything out of this video, or if you just enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment if you'd like to say anything or ask questions. I'll be glad to answer any questions I can. And if you don't know, God loves you, I love you, and we'll see you next time. Peace.